So this evening is dedicated for two projects of mine. The first one is a book in a series of books named The World According to, this time number 6. It's a project of the office here in Berlin, and they invites every time different artists to do something which is not in his everyday practice. The other project is Performative Minutes of Cafe, and I'm very thankful for them to invite me to do it. Special thanks to Ellen Blumenstein, the curator, and Adela Javits that worked with me for a long time on these two projects. And I decided, when I've been invited to do those two things, I decided to combine them together. And I meant, actually, that those two mediums will complete each other. So, in a way, when you look at this film that you just saw and hold the book and read it while watching the film, you can get the whole idea of my concept. Now, the concept of those projects is, I was thinking about an alternative way to tell a story with all the data that I can use from the web. So it means that I started in one certain point and then move on through links that I found in these events or news items or articles on the web, and then go further, step by step, through links, people, ideas that took me to another step. The book, which you can find later there, contain all these news items that I collected. You can read it as a magazine, but then there are marks and signs that you can follow my steps and find my story within those articles. The video is a sound piece actually that support those footages that I collected, and they are specifically from the places and locations that I'm speaking about in my story. So the first step that I started with was accidentally when I was looking for sound to another person. I found a conversation from a guy in East Sussex in UK calling an emergency service 999 and asking for help because he woke up this morning with a pain in his chest. And the operator took details, and at the end of the conversation she asked if there is any sign or mark that the ambulance can easily locate the address. And he said, yes, there is a green Ford Focus up in the drive. And I said, okay, this might be interesting for me to say it because I know this pain in the chest once in a while in the mornings. I have Ford Focus, silver one, not the green one, and actually I never saw a green one in Israel. So I was looking for how it looks, a green Ford Focus, and I found out that at the same year, a green Ford Focus fell off a cliff in Hartland Cliffs in North Devon in England. And miraculously, this driver survived, and I thought, okay, let's read what is it about. And there was, the only witness that saw it was a lady named Jill Jones, which is the owner of the hotel on these cliffs, and it's the only residential place in this area. Later on, I found out that this hotel won the best chips, French fries in this region by the band Bikers Associate of North Devon. And I thought, okay, let's move on with it. And I saw the guy that handed his certificate with the 3 helmets. He had this hat with an interesting logo on it, and I was looking closely on this logo, and I found out that this logo belongs to a foundation named Afghan Heroes. It's a charity foundation that a woman that lost her son in Afghanistan as a UK soldier funded to raise money for charity to help families of soldiers in Afghanistan. Later on, other women that lost their son joined her. And she had a friend that had a common friend, which is a very famous singer in the UK named Tony Christie, which you just saw. And she asked him if he can join them and collaborate for a charity song, to record the song, and he agreed. And they did the song Still the Sun, and recorded with the Royal Marines Orchestra in the Beatles studio in London. Now this guy, Tony Christie, is very famous in the UK actually, because in the 70s he had a huge hit named Is This the Way to Amarillo? This song actually was written by a very famous American singer, Neil Sedaka, and he wrote it on another CD, but it didn't rhyme with the word pillow and pillow that is in the song, so he changed it to Amarillo. Now this Amarillo is a very little town in Texas. Nothing special about it, but a few years ago they had a celebration of 100-year anniversary, and they decided to redesign the logo and the whole corporate identity, the website and everything. They print it all, make it all new, and after a few days they got sued by Emar Properties that they steal the logo. You just saw it, it looks the same sign, everything. They tried to argue, but they give up very fast because Emar Property is one of the biggest real estate company in the world. They are staying in Dubai, and they belong, like they are very connected to the kingdom there. The whole area and lands in downtown Dubai belongs to them. The main boulevard named Emar Boulevard. And they built the largest and tallest building in the world named Burj Khalifa, which is twice the Eiffel Tower, or mostly, it's almost twice the Empire State Building. Is kind of 900 meters long, high. Now the problem in United Emirates and mostly in Dubai, that they are building those huge buildings, very spectacular ones, and they are hiring employees to build it from Asia, mostly from India. Now the problem is that they are put them in camps, give them small amount of money, very bad conditions, and they make them very desperate. They say that every 3 days, one Indian employee is committed suicide. Now there was a guy named Atiraman Khanna, an Indian employee that jumped from Burj Khalifa from floor number 143, 46. And it raised up again in the news, the whole stories again, and at the same day he jumped, there was a guy, I found a magazine named Rivka from Holland. It's a magazine that the third issue was an online magazine, an online issue, and they asked the public to contribute images regarding to this topic of domestic workers. And at the same day this Atiraman Khanna jumped, there was a guy named Trenton Oldfield that upload images that he took from from Dubai. You saw it, it's and images of those mansions of the rich people in Dubai, surrounded by walls, and like traces of those poor people, employees that scattered all over the streets there. Now, Trenton Oldfield is a publisher, lives in London. He's an Australian guy, and I find that he is an activist. That in 2012 he jumped into River Thames and interrupted the boat race that are very important ceremony to the British people. They have it every year since 1829. It's a boat race between Cambridge University and Oxford University. And he interrupted it because he wanted to protest against elitism. Now they stopped the race because he almost hit by one of the rowers. They put him out, arrest him, leveled again from the same point the boats, and start over from there. But the thing is that the boats, the rowers, were tired, the muscle got cold, and they clashed each other, and Oxford boat lost one oar. Cambridge won, and because Oxford had to be very, it was very tough for them, the last guy for the boat collapsed, and they took him to hospital. Later he recovered. But it was interesting because his name is Dr. Alex Woods, and this Dr. Alex Woods is one member of the SEAL group, Oxford SEAL group, which is a very interesting research of silk. Now, they are researching the topics of spider silk. You probably know worm silk, which is industrial for many, many years, because they can put worm into farms and take the cocoons and make silk out of it. But the material from spiders is, they saying that this is the most strongest material in the world. Is 3 times stronger than metal. They're saying that this thick of this silk can lift an Airbus. And they think that this material can be, when it will be industrial, it will be solve a lot of problems with other material in the world. Now, they're trying to harvest it from spiders, but the problem is that you cannot put spiders in farms because they kill each other, they eat each other. So they're trying to isolate the protein from the spiders and put it, inject it to another organism or another animal to produce it as industrial material. Lately they succeeded with bacteria. Now at this point I decided, I figured out that I can move on and on with this story forever. And I have to put an end to it. And I thought that I'm becoming to be like a spider, a web spider, or a web crawler. And I will end this evening with reading you the term of this web crawler. It means a web crawler is an internet bot that systematically browses the World Wide Web, typically for the purpose of web indexing. A web crawler may also be called a web spider, an ant, an automatic indexer, or a web scatter. Web search engines and some other sites use web crawling or spidering software to update the web content or indexes of other sites' web content. Web crawlers can copy all the pages they visit for later processing by a search engine that indexes the downloaded pages so that users can search them much more quickly.